weren't anticipating this coming, we're now kind of stuck because we're so far along into this journey, we actually don't know what to do. It's too far to go back, and we still got way too much to go in front, and we're like, oh, what do I do? What's up? How you doing? Welcome back to A Moment of Clarity with yours truly, Aaron Thomason. I'm super excited that you're back with me, but the question is, did you bring somebody with you? All right. So I want us to think on this concept, this idea of forward thinking, because many of us have a tendency to kind of be on the grind and keep sacrificing and think of the goal and the cause, and we're on the journey and we're trying to make it happen. So we ain't got time to be thinking about some things that's around us or be getting distracted. We got to focus, right? I get to focus. Because as much as you're focusing, you're determining that the goal is important. You're putting your effort, your heart, and everything towards it. But have you ever got to a moment where you kind of felt, a little burnt out? Got to a point where you felt like, I've given so much of me that I need somebody to give back into me? Huh? Have you had those moments where you're just looking for a little bit more that you don't want to give up, but you need a little oomph to kind of keep you going, right? And that's a lot of times what happens when we're so focused on the goal. We get to that running on empty space. We get to that, I don't know if I have enough to kind of keep it pushing. And then you start trying to self-negotiate, was the goal that important in the first place? Because we didn't kind of take a step back to prepare ourselves for this moment of fatigue, this moment of burnout, or this moment of, I just need to rest. And because we weren't anticipating this coming, we're now kind of stuck because we're so far along into this journey, we actually don't know what to do. It's too far to go back, and we still got way too much to go in front. And we're like, oh, what do I do? Right? We've had these moments. And then you get out of that moment and you swear you'll never do it again. And then you do what? You do it again. Well, I had a guy tell me something that centers around these three words: eat, drink, and rest. All right? Here's why I use those three words. Because in the recreation sport of hiking, they talk about first, eat before you're hungry. I want you to think about how important that is. As you're grinding, working, sacrificing, staying focused, is to be able to think through eating before you're hungry. All right. Some of y'all might not think it's true. All right, let me tell you this. Have you ever had this moment where you were working so hard at the job, you're typing in, getting reports, you're going from meeting to meeting, and guess what? It's 4 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock, and you realize you haven't eaten a thing. And all of a sudden, when you start eating anything that isn't nailed down. I need these fries. I need these chips. I need this. I need that. And then you feel bad because you've blown your diet, or you promised that you weren't going to do it again. But what happened the moment that you put something into your body, when you lifted your head up to say, it's been a minute since I ate, all of a sudden you were craving everything, right? So one, we got to eat before we're hungry. Second thing, drink. Yeah, you got to drink before you're thirsty. Because a lot of times we do that again, is we're going so tough that we don't put anything in us to keep us hydrated. And a lot of us are trying to figure out why our ideas are coming off a little dry. Our ideas are coming off a little stale. It's because you haven't put any water on that thing. You haven't put any water into the soil. And so you're at a point in which you're drying up and burning out, and you're trying to figure out, why can't I operate like I'm supposed to? If we were driving a car and all of a sudden there wasn't enough water or enough liquid in your oil system, guess what? Your engine does what? It locks up, and it becomes more expensive than it would be had you changed the oil and the fluids appropriately before it became too late. That's the same thing with us. Drink before you're thirsty. Last thing, rest before you're tired. And I know that one is tough. I mean, I'm guilty on all three of them. So I'm not throwing casting any aspersions. I'm not throwing no shade at nobody. It's because I can be bad at moments in my life on all three. But rest before you're tired. And see, a lot of times when we grind it, I ain't got time to rest. I'll sleep when I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? If you too busy sleeping, that means you not really about this. You really don't want to work. You really don't want to go. I done heard all them things. And guess what? Somehow those people who make those statements have other things that are providing them rest or comfort or nourishment. Might be sex, might be alcohol, might be drugs, might be a selfish ambition. It's always something that's going to fill in that void that if you don't rest and get replenished, you're going to be finding other things to kind of fill in the hole that could be as simple as you sitting on the couch, not checking your phone, not checking your emails, not watching the news, watching something simple to take your mind off of everything else, to allow for you to laugh, to smile, and to be different. So, eat before you're hungry. Instead of just taking in everything and getting sick because now all of a sudden you've blown your diet because you realized you were so hungry and so famished you needed something to go in, eat before you're hungry. Because when you eat before you're hungry and you eat the right things, all of a sudden you can focus, you can be fueled, and you can maintain on the goal in which you're pursuing, on that path. 2, drink before you're thirsty. Make sure that you're not just out here, with these dry crackers, this dry dirt that you're thinking something's going to grow out of, that you're putting some water on it, that you're paying attention to it, that you're actually taking in some new ideas, that you're taking in some new thought processes, not because you're desperate, but because you're looking for improvement, because you're looking to make sure that you can be a little bit better about what you've done, and you can always get a little bit better and a little bit better. Drink before you're thirsty. Drink before you go dry. And the last thing, rest before you're tired. Yeah, I know. Before your body just crashes at the end of the night. Before you finally turn in your 2-week notice and say, forget 2-week notice, I'm walking out on my job and I'm never coming back. Before you get to that point, when you haven't rested, take some time to rest. How many people every year give vacation days back because they don't make the time to take vacation? Now, I'm going to tell you something. That ain't me. I don't leave no vacation on the table, right? But that's a rest before you're tired moment. So listen, I appreciate you stopping by this edition of A Moment of Clarity with yours truly. Here's what I want you to do. I want you in the comments to tell me, which one of those things are you going to be better about this week? The eating, the drinking, or the resting? Because if we get better at doing those 3 things, we're going to be refreshed, excited, energized, have innovation, have creativity along the journey as we're fulfilling our purpose and the goals that are before us. Instead of operating tired, operating malnourished, and operating dry and trying to figure out why we don't get the support and it's not coming together like we want. Hey, I appreciate you as always. Please make sure that you subscribe to it, notifications, turn them on, tell somebody about it. And again, don't be selfish now. Tell somebody about it. And here's what I want you to always remember. We are in this together. And the only way we are going to get better is if we stick together. And until next time, I'll see you then.